Hi and welcome. This is Radull Live. Now, there's something very exciting that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. We have a Kenyan. He's 62 years old. His name is James Kagambi, and he is going to climb Mount Everest. Yes, to the top. Not like me, not like a normal walker, a proper climber. So James Kagambi, mountaineer, yes, courtesy of Betika Na community. Betika was sponsoring his. It's very expensive, by the way, to climb mountains. So they're sponsoring him to climb Mount Everest up until the top, and we need you to cheer him along. And I'm going to share his social media handles on my pages so that you can follow his journey to the top of Mount Everest, courtesy of Betika Na community. Now today, I have another crazy athlete in studio as well. Yeah. You know, when you play more than one sport, or when your discipline involves more than one sport, I consider you crazy. So allow me to introduce William Nanjero. William, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks for having me.
Good.
Yeah.
Triathlete. First of all, the word tri is three. Tri means three.
Exactly.
Triathlete is someone who has three sports in one.
Exactly.
Before we even get to that, have you ever climbed a mountain?
Yes, I have.
You have?
I have. And big shout out to James Kagambi. Whatever he
KG.
said. Yeah, whatever he said is amazing.
He's 62. But I've climbed Mount Kenya, I've climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
Exactly.
It is hard.
It is really difficult. And the higher you go, the more you lose air, the more you have to work harder, the more you have to speak to your mind.
And when I say I've climbed Mount Kenya, it's Point Lenana. I've gone to Batian.
Imagine.
As in those ice peak climbings. Anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
But all the best to him, and thanks to Betika for partnering with him on that.
Right.
Triathlete.
Yes.
Which three sports are these? For those who don't know. I know, but just for those who don't know.
So triathlon, it's interesting. It's a multi-sport event. So there are three sports: swimming, cycling, and running. But the world body of triathlon has different variations as well. So you have run, cycle, run. You have swim, run, and you have swim, cycle. But my specialty is swim, cycle, and run.
Swim, cycle, and run. Which means you have to be a good swimmer,
exactly,
a good runner, and good cyclist.
Yes, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
So I've been doing it for like 10 years now, all three of them together, but I kicked off as a swimmer. So most triathletes are really good because they have a strong foundation in swimming. And swimming is where everything happens. So as a triathlete, if you're not good in swimming, you have no chance.
So I would be okay, because if I should say so myself, I'm a good swimmer.
Yeah, Carol, I've seen your swimming skills somewhere. We can recruit you.
I am a very good swimmer.
Yeah, you are.
And you know, cycling and running are things most people can do. Swimming is the one that now needs a speciality.
Exactly.
But this means when you were a child, you used to swim for school?
Yeah, so I started swimming when I was 4 years old, competitive when I was 5. And I swam, so how, as you know about swimming, what normally typically happens is the swimming career is between age 5 to 16, then swimmers start dropping off. And I want us to address that at some point. But I swam from age 5 to age 15, competitively, at primary school level, provincial level, national level.
So did I.
Hey!
Actually, me, it was more like from 2.
Okay.
It was more like from 2. I used to go for nationals.
Awesome. Were you a sprinter or long distance?
No, sprinter.
Sprinter.
I would do the 100 meters, 50 meters, 100 meters.
Okay.
Not longer than that.
Okay. Interesting.
Then primary, I think there's one we did 8 lengths.
Yeah.
8 lengths of, that's 400 meters.
Yes.
It used to be a speciality. But we're not talking about me, we're talking about you. Competitively, what made you decide I now want to do this competitively?
Triathlon. So going back to my background of swimming, as a swimmer, I did long distance. So in the younger ages, I did sprints, same as you, 25, 50, 25, 50. As I got to age group 10, 11, up to 15, I transitioned to long distance. So I've always had that aerobic base, I've always had that endurance that was built on swimming. So what happened is, when I got to uni, I also swam for uni, at the university, and that was amazing because we did win the university games in Nairobi and in Dar es Salaam. And I hope USIU is continuing that tradition. If they are not, we'll
go and talk to them.
We'll go and talk to them, yeah. So after that, and this is the issue that I was addressing, Carol, when swimmers get to an age where they are preteen, they're 20 years plus, your swimming career goes. And some of us who are addicted to sports, you need to transition to something else. And that's how I found myself. I researched what other sports can I do, and I stumbled on triathlon. And at that point, I was living in Cape Town, actually. And Cape Town is a very big triathlete. There's a vibe there, there's a family there. And my colleagues used to do triathlon. So it was just a natural transition getting into there, getting a coach, starting to work on triathlon. And yeah, I got myself in that. And when I moved back to Kenya, I started competitively doing triathlons.
What is the triathlon space in Kenya like? Because I'm not so informed on triathlon, but I know that there's an event that happens in, I think, South Coast in Dani once a year. I don't know if it's annual. What is the triathlon space like? Are there many athletes? Is it organized?
So the triathlon space in Kenya, I'd say, is still in infancy stages. It's growing. If I look at the number of athletes, female athletes are not more than 50. In fact, 50, I'm stretching it, I'm being generous. Male, pure triathlon only, maybe 50. If you include duathlon, now we have hundreds, because duathlon only need to have is the ability to cycle and the ability to run. So what we've been doing in this space is, because there are really, really good cyclists in Kenya, like trying to get them into duathlon, because that's something that they can do. In terms of structure, we have a federation that's affiliated to the National Olympic Committee of Kenya. In terms of competitive space, at least every 3 months, there is a competition. There's a triathlon competition. There are different events organizers. What I'd say that needs to happen moving forward is the development of the sports. So, as you've rightfully said, and it's not unique to you, Carol, triathlon is something that's not really understood in Kenya. More so at the most important level, which is the grassroots. If I go to my daughter's school right now, triathlon does not exist. They don't know what triathlon is. But the individual sports exist. So if I compare with the countries that are really, really good at triathlon, the development of this sport starts at the early ages. At national level, at the school level, at district level.
But in defense of the country, you do need a coast or a big water body. So you can do it in a swimming pool. You can use a swimming pool as part of the course.
Exactly. So the different variations of triathlon, and thank you for that question, is you can have one that's at the coast where you swim in the ocean and then you cycle on the road and run there. But you can have a dam, you can have a river. So we have had a triathlon in Ruiru, in Kericho, where you start up. Ruiru has these coffee farms, these massive 1,000-acre coffee farms that have dams.
I need to travel.
There are beautiful places in Kenya, not just 30 minutes away. So there are these massive coffee farms, and that's amazing triathlon, because you swim in the dam, then you cycle off-road in some of the most amazing scenic areas, then you run off-road. Kericho the same. Then there's the one that has a swimming pool. And normally in schools, like in nations that have developed triathlon, the schooling system starts there. Because the swimmers are used to swimming there anyway. So you slowly introduce cycling, then the running. So, well, that's a mindset that we need to get ourselves into. How can we get these young athletes to get interested in the sport at that age?
I should ask this at the beginning. What's the distance of a triathlon? Of each discipline?
Fantastic. So triathlon, just like athletics, has different variations. So there is super sprint. Super sprint is for the youngsters. So someone age 5 to 11, 12. And for super sprint, you do 400 meter swim. And then you do a 10-kilometer cycle. And then you do a 2.5-kilometer run. So that's super sprint. Then you have the sprint. So the sprint is what we do at nationals. And what will happen at the Commonwealth Games, what happened at the African Games, which is a 750-meter swim, it is a 20-kilometer cycle, and a 5K run. Then above that,
okay, I'm just listening.
And that one is the difficulty of that. The distances look short, but the difficulty of that is short. When you hear the other ones, you'll see why I'm saying that. The distances look short, but it's difficult because, Carol, it's all out. It's full gas. Like, it's sprinting. It's crazy. And then you have the Olympic distance. And so this is what happens at the Olympics, where it's a 1.5-kilometer swim,
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just to put that in context,
Yeah.
an average swimming pool is 25 meters.
Exactly.
An Olympic swimming pool is 50 meters.
50 meters, right.
So you're talking about over 1,000 meters, 1,500 meters.
Yes. Of full gas swimming.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's done in the ocean.
It's done in the ocean, yeah.
Which is not like a swimming pool where it's, oh goodness, my neighbors are deciding to move.
Yeah.
And it's not like a swimming pool where the water is calm.
Exactly. It's very choppy. So the ocean water is very choppy, meaning you have to train for the technique.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, the ocean water is very salty.
Mm-hmm.
So if you swallow that water, you have to train for it, because if it's the first time, it's an issue.
You will swallow.
Yeah. But there's an advantage. Salty water has more buoyancy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get the technique, you can swim really fast in ocean water. It's just about how you train.
I was boasting about being a swimmer. I need to be considered. I'm a swimming pool swimmer.
Yeah.
Then that's one point. Olympic is 1.5 swimming.
1.5 and then 40-kilometer cycle. And then a 10-kilometer run. Then you have the half distance, which is a mid-distance triathlon,
Mm-hmm.
which is a 1.9 kilometer swim,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a half marathon, and then you have a 90-kilometer cycle, then a half marathon. Then you have the full distance triathlon, the long distance triathlon, the one that I do, which is a 3.8 kilometer swim, and then a 180-kilometer cycle, and then a full marathon.
You're crazy. You are crazy. Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow,
So I normally say it has very few contestants. So, so your greatness.
I know one.
Yeah. But the thing about this one, Carol, is, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's not about the day. It's about the 12 months you do before the day. So on the day, I'm normally smiling because all the craziness has happened.
Training.
Yes.
Which is with all sports. Nobody sees where the work is done. People see the fruits.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah.
So what's your training schedule like? What's the regiment?
Yeah. So I do 14 to 18 hours a week of training. Because you need to be able to swim 3.8 kilometers and be fresh. On a weekly cycle, I need to do maybe 15 Ks of swimming. And I need to be able to consistently, competitively swim 5 kilometers. So that 3.8 is nothing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You do more.
Yeah, exactly. So you give yourself like 20 to 40% competitive swimming for you to be able to come out fresh. Cycling is two variations, so for endurance and for strength. So for strength is a lot of intervals. So we have what is called a turbo trainer, which is an indoor setup where you do intervals over and over again for power, intervals and rest. Endurance is the most boring because this what typically would happen is you have to do like a 6 to 7 to 8 hour set, slow, like long and slow.
That's a whole day.
Yeah, that's a whole day. Because what you're doing is first you're building your aerobic capacity, and then like you're training your body to be able to handle that load over a long period of time. And then for the run, it's typically like what the athletics guys do. It's threshold runs, it's interval running, and endurance running as well. The other two things you have to do is strength training, because you have to give your muscles a chance to be able to repair, strengthen your muscles, and also the strain, to be able to handle the strain. And then finally, like nutrition. So you have to fuel your body to be able to handle all of that. Yeah. So those are the 5
What's your
things.
diet like?
Yeah. So I'm vegan. And why I went vegan is because I wanted a shortcut. You see now your plants...
Kenyans, vegan means you don't eat meat.
Exactly. And
They're telling me to give up meat for Lent.
No, for the rest of your life, imagine.
No.
Yeah, but there's a logical reason why I went vegan. Naturally, your body takes a shorter time to break down plants than animal products. And for me, Carol, I was struggling because every time, these things that I'm explaining to you, it takes a toll on your body. So I wanted a nutrition program that will help me recover faster. And that's why I went vegan. Like when you do plants, when you do carbs, when you do proteins, you're fueling directly for performance. To answer your question, what does my diet look like? It's not complex, by the way. It's very simple. I just need complex carbs, I need proteins, and I need fiber. That's all. And sugars.
So tell Kenyans, on a typical day,
Yeah.
breakfast is?
Okay. Breakfast is...
Potatoes.
I love it. So breakfast for me is, because I have a workout session in the morning, my breakfast will be a smoothie that has banana, which is a carb. I'll have a protein powder, and I'll have chia seeds. So just that. And then I'll have 1 liter of water. Just that. But that's in the morning.
I'm already hungry for you. On your behalf.
At 10:30, that's where at 10:30, I'll have a lot of nuts because of the protein. So cashew nuts, groundnuts, etc. And I'm also and also a banana. Ama anduma, ama ngwashe. Those are very good sources of carbs. And pure carb. Yeah, then lunch is your typical lunch. Ugali spinach, ugali mrenda, hivyo tu, or rice beans, chapo beans. Just your typical African food, then dinner the same. The thing that I do a lot is I eat a lot of vegetable. A lot. Yeah, a lot of fiber.
A lot of guys watching now like, hey, you crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
And then, do you have a coach? Do you work with a coach? Do you work with a nutritionist?
That's a good question. Yeah, so I have an overall coach. So my head coach, who and big shout out to Aziz, who basically figures out what I need to do during the whole year. We have taken an approach over the last 2 years. Is we are using a lot of data, we're using a lot of science. So
which is where sport is going.
Yeah. This watch, for example, has been going.
We're the ones who are late. Yeah.
Exactly, we are late. Sikuingia tu na kifua. Leo tunakimbia 50 kilometers, or I'm cycling.
Strong.
You'll collapse on rest day. Yeah, so this watch is a watch that collects data. And it collects data 24/7. And what we are doing with him is we are developing programs based on my performance and based on the data that is collected. So we have a 6-week program where it's 4 weeks of work and 2 weeks of recovery. And every 6-week cycle, he'll look at my data and he'll come up with a program for that. So that's for my head coach. I also work with a strength and conditioning coach, basically for him to just give me the best opportunity to be able to do Aziz's crazy things, and then also a nutritionist. And yeah.
So what data is it? It's collecting. It's collecting. What exactly is it collecting?
Okay.
What is doing? What's happening in your body?
Awesome. So it's collecting your heartbeat first of all, and the heart rate is really important. Heart rate, resting heart rate. When I wake up, what's my resting heart rate? I wish I can take it to 30, but what's my resting heart rate? Secondly, when I'm doing the workouts, so there are different zones of heart rates that we work with, as you know. How is my performance across those zones? Am I improving? Am I not improving? The other data that it collects is fatigue, which is really important. What am I, and my technology is amazing. Like right now, I can think I'm not tired, but my watch will tell me I'm tired.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm tired all the time. I'm tired tomorrow.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it will collect the fatigue. It will collect the performance data. For example, a threshold run maybe should be 4 minutes 30 seconds. If that's not what's happening, it will tell us where we're off the mark and how to improve on that. Then there's a comparative and analysis data as well. Last year, at a time like this, where was I? And where am I right now? Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to take a short break.
Yeah.
When we come back, I want to know what opportunities are there for other people, even this coaching system you're saying you have.
Yeah.
Do we have a team? Who coaches the team? All that discussion is coming up after the break. So guys, don't go away. Stay with us here on Radull Live.
Chief, chapia riba ingine.
Si mnanijua. Nilikuwa date na msupa na mabeste zake. Ghafla binvu, mamoro fulani wakatuchafia meza na dishi ya bure. Nikauliza, mbona siangukiangi vitu za bwerere? Msupa akanisho, ukidai za bwerere lazima udownload Betika app. Besti yake akadai, ukidownload na ucheze na Betika app unapata free bets. Ngoja kwanza, free bet?
Oya, kwani utaambiwa mara ngapi?
Kabisa! Ukibetika unapata more!
History imeletwa kwako na Betika, the official sponsors of happiness. Gambling can be addictive. Play responsibly. Not for persons under 18 years of age. This advert is authorized and regulated by the Betting Control and Licensing Board. License number BK281. Betika, jukwaa la mabingwa.
Welcome back. This is Radull Live. Yes, remember, today we're talking about an impossible sport in triathlon. Okay, not impossible. Impossible for a layman like me. But the impossible is trying to climb up Everest. Mount Everest, yes, not just any Everest. And KG is going to do exactly that in the coming weeks. We wish him all the best. It is a Betika community initiative, and thank you, because it's expensive. Climbing is expensive. But we just wish Kadambi all the best. He's 62 years old. He's going up in an all-black team, by the way. Miros, like me and you. So they're making history in all sorts of ways. So keep track on his social media accounts. I'll be sharing them on mine as well. Or you could go to the Betika handles and find out how you can monitor KG's progress. But today I'm with William Nanjero, who's just as crazy. He's telling me how long they have to go how long the distance is in it's triathlete. Triathlon.
Yes.
Let's call it triathlon.
The sport is triathlon. The competitors are triathlete.
As a triathlete.
Yes.
I'm learning a sport. Shame on me. Shame on me.
Yeah.
So we've already determined you're as crazy as KG who's climbing up Mount Everest.
And what's your excuse? 62 years old.
And he's 62 years old, man. Me, I'm impressed. Well, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
But you were telling us about your training program before the break. But I want to go into your personal achievements in the sport, because you've been performing at the highest level for Kenya for some time.
Yeah. Thanks, Carl. So competed in a number of events locally, which is good. The fact that there's local events is amazing. Been on the podium on a number of them, won one, second a couple of times. I have done the African Triathlon Championships in Cape Town. I have also done the World Triathlon Championships.
Oh, wow.
Which is the World Cup of Triathlon.
I'm just going to ask.
Yeah, if I can give an analogy,
This show is naturally, most of the people who watch are football fans.
Exactly.
He's gone to the World Cup. That's what we're saying.
Exactly, yeah. It's amazing actually that Kenya had a team there.
Yeah.
We did 2018 in Denmark and 2019 in Pontevedra, Spain. So I was the first Kenyan to do the long distance triathlon there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, which is, for me, it's an amazing achievement and I feel very proud about it. But I'd love it to inspire other Kenyans.
First of all, I'm embarrassed
Yes.
as someone in the sports media space that you've gone to the World Cup of Triathlon and we don't know, we've not shouted about it. Imagine if that was football going for the World Cup. It would be all over the place. So and the effort you put behind the sport is just as much, if not more.
Exactly.
So shame on me and my fellow sports media people. But it's good now we're having this conversation and that we're trying to get you recognized, because you should be recognized.
And I appreciate that.
Do you get any support from the Ministry of Sport?
So through our federation. So our custodian is the federation, the Kenya Triathlon Federation. And their sole mandate is ensuring that we're competing internationally that we are prepared and that there is selections for those who are going. What I'd say is the last engagement that we did was the Africa Triathlon Championships in Egypt, which we went to. When I look in the past, maybe the last 3 years, there has been an improvement because Kenya took a really big team to Egypt.
Okay.
And we're proud for that. But where I see the biggest support area for the Ministry of Sport is they need to develop an infrastructure.
Yes.
An infrastructure where young kids will know about triathlon. And Carol, it's not just you who doesn't know. If I go right now to Olympic Primary School right now, those kids are playing football. They are. And no, I'm not putting football down. Football is an amazing sport, we all played it. But football will not absorb all the talent in Kenya.
Yeah.
Kenyans are known to be very talented in sports. Yeah, so we need to build the infrastructure in primary schools and secondary schools for the sport of triathlon. And I'm really asking the Ministry of Sports to do that.
Yeah, because to develop a sport, you need to be in primary schools.
Exactly.
Because that is where you reach a wide
Exactly.
range of people. And that's where you can introduce a sport to somebody who doesn't know a sport.
Exactly. And like if you look at the continent of Africa, the two countries that are dominating triathlon are South Africa and Egypt, 3 actually, and Morocco. It's not by luck, and it's not because they have natural ability, they have more natural ability than us, but it's because in those countries, the sport has been developed.
It's by design.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all it is.
So this large squad, this large team you took to Egypt for the the World Championship?
Egypt.
Egypt, eh?
Yeah, the
Africa Championship.
Egypt last year.
Africa Championship.
Yeah.
Do you have, like you have a national team coach, do they have coaches who are being coached? Because that's another thing with most sports. As much as we say take them out to the counties and primary schools, are there coaches to coach these people?
So what's happened is right now there are coaches that have been certified by the triathlon body, sponsored by the Kenyan Federation, but they are not more than 5. So they exist, but ni kidogo. If I compare again with football, there's so many FIFA certified coaches in this country. And referee. And it's not, Carol, it's not just coaches, it's also technical officials.
Yes.
In our sport, technical officials are not more than 3. So we need to build that capability. So the coaches, as you say, the technical officials. Yeah, we need to sort that out.
So what do you do? Do you upgrade, say, coaches, because it needs a coach to do swimming?
Yeah.
Is it one coach for swimming, cycling and running, or you have 3 coaches? Because you would ordinarily have a different coach for the different disciplines.
So triathlon has triathlon specific coaches.
So they specialize in all 3?
They understand. They are meant to understand all 3 of the sports. And they're meant to be
Because
able
they have to, because I can't make demands on how you're running if I don't know how you swim, or I don't know how you cycle.
Exactly. And like a purely swimming coach right now cannot coach you on cycling. So even if I go to the biggest swimming, and swimming has a wide array of coaches, if I go and pick a coach from there, they will really struggle because they don't know the mechanics of running, they don't know the mechanics of cycling, and they don't know the other things that support triathlon, like recovery, strength training, and all of these things.
Is it expensive? Because cycling as a sport is a bit expensive.
Yeah.
Swimming, I was surprised. I grew up in Botswana, where I think because it's such a rich country, resource-wise, swimming is free everywhere. Here you have to pay to use the swimming pool.
Exactly.
And I know that hinders a lot of athletes in developing certain skills. That's why everyone plays football. You just need a pitch and a ball.
Exactly.
Once you have that ball, you can play. You're telling me buy a bicycle, and it's not any bicycle. It's not a Black Mamba. You're telling me specialize in swimming. So in terms of expense,
it is, and it's I equate it to swimming. First of all, triathlon, you need equipment for all 3 sports. You need the right running shoes, you need the right running gear, you need a bicycle, you need a helmet, you need a visor. Swimming, you need the swimming kits, you need the training equipment for swimming, which is like paddles, flippers, all of those things.
you make it worse. You need a lot of money.
Yeah, but this is how I'm very hopeful about it for. Swimming is a very expensive sport as well, but swimming has developed in Kenya in a way that I cannot even explain. There are so many swimmers that are being churned out. Like Carol, as you know, every Saturday there are competitions where there are thousands of kids. And for me, where I see swimming is there has been a lot of goodwill from parents, honestly. Parenting, swimming parents are amazing, and I give them
And aggressive.
and aggressive.
I know a few.
Yeah, I give them maximum respect for that. Yeah, so if we can take that swimming mentality, put it in triathlon, but a better management structure, because swimming has its own gaps. A better management structure, I think we'll get there.
Right now, does the sport pay? Or you like you, I know you have a day job, and I always call them day jobs in quotes, because unfortunately,
Yeah,
we haven't made sports jobs.
Exactly.
Sport should be a job,
it should be. Yeah.
but you have to have a day job
Yeah.
to make ends meet.
Yeah.
How paying is the sport?
So yeah, it doesn't pay. So it's not a day job. And every person in triathlon in Kenya is semi-pro. They're not fully pro because they're not paid. So yeah, it's either a passion project or it's something that you're doing to supplement whatever you're doing. If you represent the country, you get paid for it. But how many times do you represent the country? Yeah.
So I guess like most other sports, you have to reach a certain level in order to attract corporate sponsors or corporate
Exactly.
partners, which is the way other sports are funded. How
Exactly.
far away are we from that?
So when I look at the sport of triathlon right now, the kids who are 16 right now have the biggest chance because we have done all of the work for them, all of the dirty work. I normally tell those kids, because I captain the triathlon team, it's like just learn from my
Are you the
mistakes.
captain as well?
Yes.
That's what you should have started with.
Thank you, Carol. Yeah, so as the captain of the triathlon team, one of my biggest ambitions and goals is to mentor these kids and create a path for them that's easier than mine. And I always tell them, because these kids, they're amazing, they're really, really good swimmers. Like if I put them toe to toe with the South Africans, they get out of the water together. So in the next 5 years, these kids can define the sport. All they need to do is to remain grounded, which is really, really important. Secondly, just remember it's your 10,000 hours. There's no shortcut. They have to put in the work. Thirdly,
10,000 hours.
10,000 hours. Hakuna shortcut. Thirdly, and Carol, we can't put this thing down. These guys are teenagers. They are adolescents. There are things that are happening in their lives. There are changes, but we have to build support structures for them. Mentors, their parents, mental health guys. These are nothing I'm diversifying to. Mental health guys, and also like the leadership teams of the federations. Like make it a fair playing ground. If Nanjero wins, he goes. So yes, in the next 5 years, there's athletes who I'm seeing who are very strong, who I think can shake up Africa. Yeah.
In terms of, I'm still on the corporate case. When you have local events, you
Yeah.
get sponsorship at all.
So it's dependent on the organizer, the event organizer. I've seen events where 2 corporates maybe will sponsor. They'll take a leap and sponsor. The energy drinks guys see an opportunity in it and have sponsored before because of obviously the endurance element. But if I would give it on a scale of 1 to 10, I think corporate sponsorship is at 1.5.
Still a long way away.
It's a long way to go. And it's why I say that is even these guys who sponsor, it's not a long game. I'll come and give you 30 Gs for an
For a
event.
competition,
Yeah,
they
and,
get 10s, it's finished.
and then put it on your socials, then we'll see you again 3 years from now.
I have beef with our sponsors because
Yeah.
they don't,
Yeah.
they don't look far, they don't see the
Exactly.
potential of growing you. They wait for
Yeah.
you, the day you win something, an
Yeah.
Africa championship, they'll all be on your case.
Exactly.
I want to partner with you.
Yeah.
You know, instead of saying, why don't we, and this should be spearheaded even by the ministry, why don't
Exactly.
we invest for that, why don't we make a champion?
Exactly.
You see, we don't make champions.
We don't.
We don't want to ride with you and then when you succeed, I say, you know
Yeah.
what, I was with him at the beginning.
That's it. And that's where
It's
the
back to
story is.
front.
Yeah. That's where the story is. Like, honestly, Carol, there were 2 Kenyans who went to the Olympic Games.
For triathlon. None. And we hosted the young lady here. She was like, I can't believe she hadn't even met the ministry.
Yeah. So those are the challenges.
That's unfortunate. What's you, as we wrap, your wish list? What would you want? What do us as media have to do? What do the fans need to do? Because they're fans of the individual sports.
Yeah.
We have athletics fans, we have cycling fans, we have swimming fans. And what more do you need from? Okay, the government, you've already said, basically infrastructure, outreach.
Yeah.
What would be your wish list for the sport?
So for the sport, this is, as I was mentioning earlier, is like all of us have a responsibility to create an enabling environment for these athletes. So it's infrastructure, it's a fair environment, which is something we don't speak about enough. Let it be fair. It's the corporate guys to come in. And one of the corporates that we're actually speaking to, sometimes, Carol, it's not about like, you need to think outside the box. It's not about you just putting hard cash and then waiting for a guy to win the Olympics. A triathlete can come to your company A and be part of your wellness program. And Changamusha guys inside there.
Actually, yeah.
And Changamusha guys inside there. Nanjero can come to this big corporate and train someone to go for Ironman. That's a story for you. Because corporates like stories.
Yeah. That is the one stories.
They want stories. Like I can take someone in your institution and make him go for an Ironman. And we document that whole journey. That will be eyeballs for you for years.
Yeah.
And there's an energy drink company that does that, and I really like them for that. But these other guys don't see it. So anyway, so the corporate sponsorship side. I believe we need also to build capacity beyond the athletes. So triathlon is not just the athlete. You have a strength and conditioning coach. You have the marketing management side of it. So I'd love to see young kids going to do sports marketing and them being absorbed in the industry, either through developing their own agencies or like even these corporates, like having someone who thinks about how can we leverage sports for our own growth. And that guy who's in sports marketing joins this corporate.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see capacity around that. Facilities would be great and important. So individually in each of the sports, we have facilities, but it's not enough. I'll give you an example. So Kenya is an athletics running nation. When I want to do track sessions, where do I go? Nairobi. Even me right now.
By the way, it's just the main stadiums, or there's
Exactly.
no training grounds.
Exactly. The other day I was talking with Helen Obiri, and we were doing some training sessions with her. And like if you see even where she trains, and that's someone who's at the highest level. So that's something that we need to really think about. There's one more area that's becoming a critical pillar for sports, for triathlon in general, which is like mental awareness. How do we build the capacity? We need to stop this thing of, first of all, fans expecting everyone to win all the races.
Yeah.
You're putting so much pressure on that guy. And when he doesn't win, when he's second and third, just appreciate and applaud him, man. These guys, and I've seen...
I always say we're very fickle. We're a very fickle fan base. We don't
Yeah.
understand the challenges our athletes go through.
Yeah.
But when they don't perform,
Yeah.
they're so loud.
Exactly.
Like we even supported you when you were training, you know.
Exactly. And I'd like, and this is a call out to fans, I'd really like you to support your Kenyan athletes. When the guy is fourth, it affects them. Me, I've sat with those elite athletes. I can see, Wakenya watasema nini? You can hear him saying,
Yeah.
Wakenya watasema nini? What will my guy in Shags, when I go back to LD, what will they say? You're putting so much pressure on that guy. But you in your job, in your corporate job, you never win all the awards there. You see?
It's just that nobody knows.
Yeah.
But that's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah. These guys go through a lot. And Carol, then look at the average age of an athlete. It's age 16 to maybe 35. These are young minds.
Yeah.
These are young minds. So I'd also like to see that from the fans, more support, and for us to continue developing mental awareness. And it's something that I personally want to drive. I've gotten certified by the International Olympic Committee on that. So I'll be doing a lot of work around there just to build capacity for elite athletes as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'm on the fans' case, but they'll be on their case.
Yeah.
So a lot of the athletes who are from LD,
Yeah.
when they come from an international meet, especially if they've not done well, they will land at the airport and go straight to LD.
Imagine.
People are like, you don't even stay in Nairobi. Like, you know, they just want to go and hide on your farm, you know, and as you're saying, it's huge, the issue of mental health of athletes, and we don't pay enough attention to it.
We don't.
But thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing. The name of the federation, for those who, Triathlon?
Kenya Triathlon.
Kenya Triathlon.
Yes.
That's what it's called.
Kenya Triathlon.
Are you on social media?
I am. Follow me on Instagram at Nanjero, Twitter at Nanjero _ Facebook Nanjero.
You'll give me all those handles,
Perfect.
and you also give me the handle for the federation so that I
Yeah.
can share all that, so that people can know where to go if they want to get involved. But thank you. For me, this has been an introduction to triathlon. Shame on me. But let's keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
What competitions are we looking forward to this year?
So this year there's a Commonwealth Games. So actually the
We're
qualifiers.
participating.
Yeah, the qualifiers of the Commonwealth Games are on March 19th. March 13th, I beg your pardon.
That's not fun.
Yeah,
That's
and
like next week.
next week, yeah. And Kenya is taking 2 male athletes and 2 female athletes.
Are you going?
So that's it. No, that's sprint. So I'm not a sprint
Oh.
athlete. Yeah. I'm not Omanyala. I am Kipchoge.
hey. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's gonna be good because again, with these young kids I was telling you about, they're gonna start getting the exposure at that level. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then in the next 2 years will be the Olympics. The Africa Championships happens every year.
Did we go for last Olympics? I don't
No,
know
we
where
didn't qualify. So what happens with the Olympics, classical Olympic issue is for Africa, the slot is given for Africa.
Ooh.
Not like in athletics where it's the country and it's qualifying times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we need to really up our game.
And once we're against Morocco, Egypt, and South Africa,
It's an issue.
all right. Well, thank you so much, William Nanjero. Thank you so much for talking to us today on Triathlon. I'm so glad that this young lady got in touch with me. You know, I'm trying to reach as many sports as possible, and some I have to wait for people to approach me because I don't even know how to start.
Right.
But let's keep the conversation going.
Yes, yeah, and for me, like why it's important for me to do these kinds of things is like to remind ourselves Kenya is such a rich sporting nation, manze. Do you remember when we were growing up? Like it was
We played everything.
Everything. And Kenya was competing in everything. The other day I was talking to someone and we were speaking about cricket and hockey. Cricket and hockey, Kenya was up there.
World Cup standard, yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Carol.
That's an long conversation.
Yeah. Let's kill it there. Thank you so much.
But thank you so much. Thank you, William, for talking to us. And thank you guys for watching Radull Live. Let's give the triathletes more support. And of course, let's listen, guys, as fans, on the challenges that our athletes go through so that we give them support. And let's not always go down when things don't go our way. But thanks for watching. We live, we learn, we grow. See you next week.
Perfect.